To combine it, I think we don't have to combine it, it is one. Working together meant a couple of times as well that we disputed. I am economist, but he says I'm philosopher. This is one of the models you are actually talking about. All the great economists, I don't claim to be a great economist, but they had not been economists by training. So in terms of disciplines, there is always a cross-cutting between different disciplines. I'm trained sociologist, economist, philosopher, and I'm working now in law. Now I'll come back to law later. There is another question about models, the normal working relationship. My thesis is it never existed. In terms of disciplines, we have had the old craftsman who did everything, coming to disciplines, and who was flexible in this way. Now we push them, to some extent at least, into disciplines, into professions, into work, and we did so ideally in this model of 40 hours per week for 40 years of the life. This had been an illusion. The only people who are really flexible, and there you see the difference between different kinds of flexibility, are people like myself, introduced, working now at a German institute. Before that I came from China, before that I lived in Rome, before that I lived in Ireland, I don't know where. So then we have actually to talk about, not about flexibility, but about the security systems, or the systems of acknowledgement that are going hand in hand with it. This does not comply with the model of 40 hours for 40 years. These are two different problems. Mercedes-Benz once advertised by saying not made in Germany, but made by Mercedes-Benz. Wherever you went, there had been parts of Mercedes built, designed, combined, whatsoever. So this is flexibility in terms of they didn't have to worry about security. They just did it. They can do it, some of them can do it now in a way that they have larger budgets than actually nation states. And there is an example currently on the way, the decision, we are waiting for the legal decision next year. Apple owes Ireland a huge amount of taxes, I don't know how much, but they are safe. There is no question about any security issues. The security issue had been for the workers at Apple, not for Apple. Not for Ireland, because Ireland, for whatever reason, I could talk about this now, for whatever reason they said, keep the money, we don't want it, we have low taxes. This is, I think, a major problem when it comes as well to methodology in social science. We are thinking about the individual, methodological individualism we have, and we have methodological nationalism. The nation state, the individuals, they have to comply to certain rules, and if they don't do it, they get in trouble, meaning if they are flexible, they lose the security of being individual, being secured by the nation state. So we have to be very careful as well when we are talking about law if we are talking about labor law, if we are talking about social security law, or if we are talking about the law as a matter of obliging employers towards their employees. They have an obligation, they should have an obligation. This is at least the idea of law, of Western law, the tradition, Roman law, including even common law, that they are obliged to look after their workers, white collar or blue collar. Now, the enterprise in this way doesn't exist anymore. It's floating, it's somewhere, still having the security or using it, establishing it, whereas the worker has the problem of dealing with insecurity if he or she adapts to the flexibility. If he or she works and says, no, I don't want to. I don't want to have 40 hours. I don't have to work 40 hours, and I cannot work 40 hours because there's no job. Because the flexible enterprise takes it away due to making use of it. So we have to redefine, as well in terms of social science, ways of looking not at nation states, but developing in international law. The International Labour Organization, unfortunately, does not have any power. Unfortunately, we are still working on the United Nations level or OECD or wherever, always with a reference to nation states. And we are always talking about individual responsibility, individual secularization. I talked about this with the old head of the institute where I'm working now, Max Planck Institute. He said as well, being lawyer in the strict sense, we cannot even think about social law. Social law is always social law in terms of social obligation, social support for individuals. So there we have to have a major shift, and to say we have a major break in terms of responsibilities, in terms of references. There are many things in economics, there are many things in political debates, and there is one major thing I want to throw out as a little bit of provocation perhaps. I missed actually on the bags beside the KPMG logo the one of the ILO or the one of trade unions or whatsoever. They belong here as much as the side of entrepreneurs, and we have to fight together against each other to clarify these lines.
Я второй вопрос Петру задам отдельно, сейчас не буду, а потом спрошу. Петр, я тебя спрошу попозже. Чувствуешь ли ты себя уютно от того, что ты каждый полгода меняешь работу? Это потом. Сейчас я хочу спросить высказаться.
Well, the one sentence, the answer to what Vyacheslav asked, if I feel safe. Safety and security are different things again, and I definitely don't feel secure. And another provocation put into this discussion, one reason I did not marry in this way, that I have a breadwinner at home, and this was very much for men the advantage of having a normality, a supposed normality for several years. They relied on the women who had not been in any employment. And this was, I think, a serious question mark behind the entire concept of normality as well, that it always relied on somebody else doing some of the work.